Don't put all your eggs in one basket. They bet so much on Robert Mueller. Oof. It is just bad. Now, I'll tell you this. This was originally going to be my main channel video until Justice Smollett happened. But boy, do we have some schadenfreude. Wow. Just wow. Okay. The people who are dying, who are dedicated wholeheartedly to the Mueller report, these activists, they have come out looking pretty bad. Over the nearly 2 years, from the New York Times, 2 years of the Mueller investigation, a segment of liberals and activists built up fervent hopes that it would bring Mr. Trump down. They elevated Mr. Mueller, a former FBI director, into an anti-Trump cultural icon, complete with T-shirts, scented candles, and holiday-themed songs like "We Wish You a Mueller Christmas." Oh my God, I don't know if you've seen the video. You've got people singing "We Wish You a Mueller Christmas." It is the cringiest insanity I have ever seen. Look, I'm confused as hell by the Justice Smollett news. Who knows what really happened? But at least I never went crazy. I actually always maintained there was the possibility that we could be wrong. We need to wait and see, innocent until proven guilty, although we're leaning towards it seems beyond a reasonable doubt at this point. Hey, media and police can be wrong. We'll see. Attorneys saying it's not an exoneration, but let's look at the Mueller stuff now. For some of them, the report felt like a betrayal. To many others, it was a disappointment. I was hoping that the truth would come out, said Sean Foster, a 45-year-old music video and television producer in Nashville. Mr. Foster had taken to wearing a yellow pin, showing the top of the special prosecutor's head rising like a shark from the sea. Mr. Foster said he was wearing the pin on Sunday when Mr. Barr's summary of the report came out. It is definitely embarrassing. You think? It's a drag knowing there are people out there who are gloating. Oh, I'm right here. Jennifer Taub, a Vermont law school professor who has become known for punchy anti-Trump columns with titles like "Yes, Collusion. Now what?" Excuse me. No collusion. There are definitely people who thought that Mueller would save us. From what? This is a proof, okay? This is the proof you need. They don't care about Russia. They don't care if Trump worked for Russia. They just don't like Trump. They're still angry. You just found out your president's not a Russian agent. Congratulations. Everything you were claiming to be wrong, you're angry about, is gone. You can be happy now. Oh, they're still upset? Yes, they just don't like Trump. Ms. Taub said she remained hopeful that Mr. Mueller's findings would have not yet been made public, would somehow contradict the summary given by Mr. Barr. But she said she understands the legal threshold for proving conspiracy. Oh, come on. Mueller said he found no evidence supporting conspiracy of any American. It's not even that. Now there's okay, I hope you're ready. A popular podcast called Mueller, She Wrote, which is streamed up to 200,000 times a week, calls its Russia-obsessed fans Muellerites. One of the three hosts, a California comedian who goes by AG and has a tattoo of Mr. Mueller's silhouette on her arm, said the community was in what could only be described as a collective state of muted shock. I've had to talk a couple people off the ledge. Are you nuts? I'm reminded now of the episode of Rick and Morty where Rick finds out that Mr. Needful tried to kill himself and he starts laughing. I would never laugh at something like that, but it reminds me of this, like, holy, are you serious? It's not that bad. Why are you going to walk off? Wait, hold on. You found out your president wasn't a Russian agent? Were you hoping he was? Were you sitting there pledging allegiance to Russia, hoping that your government was taken over? Like, explain this to me. They're sad their president doesn't work for Putin to the point where they were being talked off of a ledge? Wow. One fan of the podcast, Anne Craig Tillman, said she wants to see the full report because she's completely deflated. What is going on with people? I've been emotionally invested from the start, and I was let down by what Barr said? Absolutely. And was I let down by what Barr said? Absolutely. She said, was I let down by what Mueller said? I don't know what he said. Oh, come on. The Facebook page of the Robert Mueller fan club says on its about page, "All hail Robert Mueller." Okay, well then don't stop now. He said no collusion. Congratulations, you're done. Be happy. Through his work, we shall be delivered from this ignorance and evil we suffer. Barbara Llewellyn, a retired real estate agent from Naperville, Illinois. Oh, you're making Naperville look bad. I got friends from Naperville, okay? It's in the Chicago area. Had written hallelujah on the page, but Monday she had changed her tune. I am very disappointed because I felt that there were so many public instances where Trump acted guilty and tried to shut down the investigation in various ways. And I am realizing that this is just Barr's interpretation of what the report said, even with a direct quote saying there was no collusion. And I'm hoping very quickly that Congress gets a hold of it totally unredacted, and we can go from there. Some progressive activists have been calling for Mr. Trump's impeachment almost since he took office. And billionaire Tom Steyer ran television advertisements with that aim across the country. But the sense of profound disappointment that has set in on the left illustrates why Democratic campaigns have been so leery of resting their electoral hopes on Mueller's investigation and the possibility of impeachment. Top party strategists have long asked Democratic candidates to ignore the Russia investigation and concentrate their fire on more clear-cut targets like Republican attempts to gut or repeal the Affordable Care Act. CNN this morning ran a segment where they, they were showing polls of people, and they said, tell us what you think the most important issue is. They weren't prompted. They weren't given multiple choice. They were told, just tell us, from first to last, most important issues. Guess what? 0% Russian investigation. I kid you not, 0%. It's really weird then that CNN just went along with it for so long, and MSNBC went along for it so long. And this morning, when I tweeted about it, Brian Stelter got offended and said I was insulting all of the journalists. Let's read a little bit more. Tyler Law, former spokesman for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, said his party's House candidates in 2018 didn't run a single district paid media campaign on Russia because extensive research had found that the issue did not persuade voters or mobilize the base. Yeah, you want me to have sympathy for these journalists who for years ran this story that no one cared about? Sorry, don't have it. Even Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, who is running for president in 2020, has called Mr. Trump corrupt, has focused her attacks on his business entanglements and failure to release his tax returns, not on the possibility that there was Russian collusion. Nobody cared. At a campaign stop in Cedar Rapids, Iowa earlier this year, she said, by the time we get to 2020, Donald Trump may not be president. In fact, he may not even be a free person. But it wasn't the Russia investigation alone that she had in mind. She explained afterward, come on, how many investigations are there now? It's no longer just the Mueller investigation. They're everywhere, and these are serious investigations. Oh, come now. Oh, they're getting into the Krasensteins. This reluctance by Democratic candidates has not stopped other figures on the left from capitalizing on the Mueller obsession among the Democratic base. Ed Krasenstein, who runs a prominent anti-Trump social media account with his brother Brian, announced plans for a children's book last year depicted Mr. Mueller as a superhero, complete with a shirtless, muscular pose. Seriously? Oh my God. I'm pulling it up. After criticism, the Krasenstein brothers changed the book to a political parody. Oh my God. Sneak peek at the last page of my upcoming book, How the People Trumped Ronald Plump. Available for pre-order now. Ships November 6th. And yes, I'm teaching our children that Trump's actions are not okay. Deal with it. Meet Robert Morrill. Dedicated to the future of America and children in the world. So what else do they have? Oh, okay. It's the same tweet, basically. Some Mueller fans say Mr. Barr's announcement over the weekend is far from the final word. We haven't been able to see the report, said Ruth Story 75. Well, yeah, we get it. Come on. I got a bunch of stuff pulled up. We've got this page where Jeff Zucker issued his statement. Where's that statement from Jeff Zucker? CNN. Let's see. Jeff Zucker, president of CNN, said he was entirely comfortable with the network's coverage. We are not investigators, you think? We're journalists, and our role is to report the facts as we know them. Who brings you the facts? How do you find the facts? This implication is clear, that they don't investigate to find facts. They just report the facts as they know them. How do you know them if you don't investigate? That's mind-blowingly insane. A sitting president's own Justice Department investigated his campaign for collusion with a hostile nation. That's not enormous because the media says so. That's enormous because it's unprecedented. Yet for some reason, no one cared. And for some reason, the New York Times cited in another story about how none of the Democrats were even campaigning on it. And this morning, CNN themselves said, yet literally no one said they care. Like when prompted, what do you care about the most? No one even brought up Russia. Given the opportunity to bring up any issue, as many issues as they wanted, no one said Russia. Yeah, I'm sure. It's because there is a fringe element of conspiracy theorists. I'll tell you what, CNN and MSNBC discovered the InfoWars strategy. That there is a group of people dedicated who want to watch nonstop, and you can rope them in with conspiracy theory, and it works. I think it's hilarious. You know what? I'm saying this. This will be rather facetious, but Oliver Darcy came after Alex Jones not because he didn't like what Jones was doing, but because it was competition. because they were pushing this conspiracy nonsense and they didn't want anybody competing with them. I'm kidding, but you get what I'm saying. Bill Gruskin, a professor at the Columbia School of Journalism, said there seemed to be some confusion about the role of journalists. Mueller and Barr need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Do we file charges or don't we? He said journalists don't have that standard. No, okay. In other words, Pulitzer Prize-winning reports of alleged wrongdoing do not need to provide evidence of criminality in order to be factual, newsworthy, and relevant to their readers. This is a big party of crazy wackaloons who are like, we didn't do anything wrong. I'm just going to say it. I said it earlier. If you didn't do anything wrong, how come all of these other outlets got the story right? How come Glenn Greenwald got the story right? He cites the Federalist, who got the story right. Why didn't you? CNN, MSNBC. And we can now see just the extreme degrees that people are going. We got Seth Abramson, who's like, no. And he posts this image. See, what he's trying to say here is that you've got to get past all of these steps to get a guilty verdict. And that, I guess what he's trying to imply is that Trump is somewhere in here where maybe we have a preponderance of evidence that prove that, so we know he did it, but still not guilty. And even if there's reasonable doubt, still not guilty. No, these are things that are brought forward to a grand jury. Robert Mueller said no collusion, no evidence. This is not even, they didn't even get to the point where they said we're going to pass it off to a grand jury. There's no sealed indictments. Maybe. We don't know what's in the report yet. We'll leave it there. I'm going to end the story by just concluding with one final thought. Cytogenesis. This is from XKCD. Ever since that free speech thing, I'm not a big fan, but this is a really good comic. Cytogenesis step 1. Through a convoluted process, a user generates a fact and puts it on Wikipedia. The scroll lock key was designed by Stephen Chu. In the next one, a rushed writer checks Wikipedia and cites this, the ubiquitous scroll lock key invented by Stephen Chu. Surprised readers check Wikipedia and flag it for review. Then a passing editor finds the piece and adds it as citation. So this is what you see. Random person goes on Wikipedia and makes up nonsense. Then some journalist sees it and cites it, putting it back on Wikipedia as fact, and then everyone thinks it's true. Cytogenesis, the citation of Wikipedia, how it generates fake facts. And this is what I think happens with a lot of stories. I'll leave it there. Stick around. I got one more video coming up. I will see you then.